I've got you, Miss Baylor.
You certainly do, Batman.
The Batman of Zur-En-Arrh, origin explored. DC Comics have surely given us a wide variation of their popular characters, and when the take is on Batman, the options are never-ending. Centralizing the conditions and the set of moral codes stipulated by him, the possibilities of branching out any part of his emotion are endless. Even without any new iteration, Batman's choice of not killing any of his opponents speak volumes about the character's righteous rigidity. He believes that without his choices, he could have been a vicious criminal mastermind as the source of all mental distortions or trauma, something that both he and his villains have experienced. The Batman of Zur-En-Arrh, from the recent Batman comics issued 125 to 127, have showcased the extent of it. The Batman of Zur-En-Arrh was initially planned to be showcased as a Batman from an alternate reality, but Grant Morrison gave a completely new direction to it. He wanted to project the idea that, like Bruce Wayne, Batman might also need protection, and the alternate persona was a fail-safe program to save Batman against any severe emotional trauma that could possibly take him down. Appearing for the first time in 1940, the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh made several appearances, and in today's video we will be talking about all appearances and inferences of the character. So without further delay, let us get into exploring the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh. But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request from you. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel, because it's just a small click for you, but for us, it means a whole lot. So thank you, and let's begin. Who is the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh? Created by Ed Herron and Dick Sprang, the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh was first introduced in the 1940s Batman issue 113 under the storyline Batman, the Superman of Planet X. The story begins with Batman waking up in the dead of night and leaving his mansion to patrol Gotham City. As he soared high in the sky in his Batplane, he felt his head spinning, and in a moment, he found himself in an unfamiliar place. While he struggled with confusion, he heard a voice from behind him which said, "Welcome, Batman, to the planet of Zur-En-Arrh. I have mastered your language, so we may talk." He turned around and noticed a doppelganger of his, in a brighter version of his costume, which he later called futuristic. With the bat symbol similar to the real Batman, the character wore an identical cape and a mask, but in purple. The remaining part of the outfit was colored red and yellow. He explained to Batman that they were on the planet Zur-En-Arrh, which belonged to a star system far away from the solar system, and he had teleported him there in order to save his world from crisis. The new character then revealed that after observing Batman through his powerful telescope for all these years, he too had taken the mantle of the Bat to fight crime in his world. His name was Tlano, and he was the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh. He was a scientist and had also built his own Batcave, Batmobile with an atomic-powered motor and a Batplane. However, with all the advanced technology, the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh failed to deal with their world's threat, which was the invaders from their enemy planet, for which he sought help from the real Batman. Processing all this information, the real Batman was still confused as to how he could be of any help when his counterpart, with the technology far superior to his, had failed. The Batman of Zur-En-Arrh finally revealed that humans of the Earth have superpowers on their planet. He shot Batman with a power ray gun, which had no effect on him. He also asked him to bend a metal rod, which he did easily. Batman on this planet had powers equivalent to Superman and could also fly like him. Meanwhile, the invaders began attacking Zur-En-Arrh and depleting the planet's reservoirs with their moisture-absorbing ray cannons. Batman, with his new superpowers, attacked them, destroying their cannons and deflecting giant nuclear orbs capable of disintegrating anything on their path. Back at the Batcave, the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh watched the victory of Batman, but after a point could not spot any enemy. The invaders had one more power up their sleeve, and that was invisibility. They vanished for a while and returned on giant robots who could pulverize cities with ease. Batman hurried up to them and attacked them before they can go invisible again, but it was too late, as now he had to fight with giant invisible robots. Batman, despite his new powers, struggled to fight with them. Tolano had previously built a bat radio which could create disturbances in the atmosphere by releasing electronic molecules, and he tried using it to render their enemies' invisibility useless. The plan worked, and the invaders decided on retreating before Batman grabbed their giant robots and hammered them into the ground, thereby destroying them. The invaders retreated on their spacecraft, and according to Tolano, he was sure that they would never dare to return again. But Batman of Zur-En-Arrh bids farewell to Batman and hands him over his bat radio as a gift. Batman got teleported back to his Batplane. He reflects on the entire perplexing event, questioning himself if it was a dream or something different. But with the bat radio with him, he realizes that it was very much real. Return of the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh. Batman of Zur-En-Arrh returned in Grant Morrison's first issue in the main Batman series. His approach towards the character was a darker one. With artist Andy Kubert, Zur-En-Arrh was showcased as a concept in Batman issue 655. Published on July 26, 2006, the issue began the initial phase of teasing the concept of Zur-En-Arrh. Like many of those nights where the Joker wreaked havoc on the city, this time the prime target was Commissioner Gordon, who he had dropped from a building after infecting him with the Joker toxin. Commissioner Gordon was caught by the GCPD, who all have always been infected. While they all laughed, Joker is shown to be beating someone who he believed to be Batman. This man in the Batman costume was an imposter and finally shot Joker in the face. The real Batman arrived at the scene, arrested the imposter, and carried Joker away in an ambulance through an alleyway covered with the graffiti phrase, Zur-En-Arrh. Zur-En-Arrh was a distorted version of Zur-En-Arkham, the last movie that Bruce had watched before his parents were killed in that alley. The phrase made reoccurring appearances in the ongoing series during Batman's crime-fighting adventures, and finally got its revelation in issue 676 under the storyline, Batman R.I.P. Published in June 2008, the story begins with a hunchback, Labosu, who kills a man without any reason casually on his way to meet the Black Glove as an act of daring. Black Glove was a criminal organization led by Dr. Simon Hurt. The organization was highly influential and consisted of wealthy and powerful members. Labosu, after killing the man, asked the organization to cover up the mess, questioning the association's reach. Dr. Hurt shouts out, claiming that they have all the resources to frame the death as a suicide and that the Black Glove should never be questioned about its potential and resources. Batman has been researching deeply about the Black Glove organization, and Robin goaded him to take the new Batmobile for a test drive as he appeared extremely stressed out. On their way, they encountered a car with a family being hijacked by a drugged-up costume criminal. Batman and Robin stopped the criminal after a short pursuit. Tim, aka Robin, has been noticing Batman behaving differently. Upon returning home, he embraced his present girlfriend, Jezebel Jet, without changing back to Bruce Wayne. Tim talks to Alfred about how he is terribly concerned about Batman. He had seen him undergo severe mental traumas, especially after he had locked himself up in isolation chamber, but it was different this time. He continues by bringing up the paternity test of Damian Al Ghul, which Batman had recently conducted but never told him the results. Alfred refused to answer Tim's question, and Tim stopped asking further. The next day, Bruce took Jezebel to his parents' grave, where she assured him that his parents must be proud of their son's good deeds after all these years. Before leaving, she handed over an invitation card for her and Bruce Wayne at a party organized by the Black Glove. Meanwhile, at Arkham Asylum, Labosu arrived to recruit the Joker, who hallucinates about his massacre at the asylum. The story continues to issue 677, which begins with Batman trying to extract information about the Black Glove from a costume criminal in the sewers of Gotham City in his own way. Commissioner Gordon, who is also present at the scene, informs Batman that prior to his request, Gordon had investigated the Black Glove, but all that he can get from the police department's database was an old film. Somewhere else, the Black Glove members sit together to make plans to kill Batman. Dr. Hunt tells them that unlike previous attempts by different criminals, he had made arrangements to destroy Batman from within, and Labosu's henchman has done his work correctly with the Librium on the blade that will make Batman more susceptible to the trigger phrase he had implanted in him years ago. Meanwhile, Gordon tries defending Bruce Wayne at the mayor's office, who, according to Gotham Gazette reporter Ed Sheldrake, is schizophrenic. He demanded evidence, and the mayor provided him with documents retrieved from a locker during the Gotham Grand Central bomb scare. According to the documents, Thomas was a hardcore drug addict and alcoholic, and Bruce Wayne was the son of Alfred Pennyworth and Martha Wayne. There was also a photograph of Alfred Pennyworth, Thomas and Martha Wayne with John Mayhew, Mangrove Pierce, and Marcia Lamar. The mayor also added that there was a rumor that Thomas Wayne had killed Martha, faked his death, and is even alive. Back at the Batcave, Batman had invited Jezebel, who was rather shocked and slightly overwhelmed at his den. She informed him that her efforts in finding more about the Black Glove hadn't been that fruitful, and stated that the only way to learn more about the nefarious organization was by attending the party's invites. However, Batman denied it, as he believed this to be a trap. Knowing everything about Bruce Wayne and Batman, she pitied him and requested him to stop sacrificing his entire life for his obsessive desire to fight crime. She even hinted that he himself might be the Black Glove, as who else could perfectly stitch all the events one step ahead of him? Batman. Batman completely denied the theory, as he believed that if he was ever to go rogue, the Bat computer would be able to sense it. He then stared at his computer's screen and said it was static. Jezebel said that she could see graffiti reading Zur-En-Arrh, to which Batman started collapsing and asked her to leave the mansion. As he completely collapsed, thugs appeared and closed in on him. Eventually, Alfred arrived and the thugs started beating him, shouting, "Farewell, faithful butler!" Next, Bruce is shown to undergo several hallucinations and is finally shown to be begging for money in the streets with Honor Jackson. The Batcave had then been completely invaded by Dr. Hurt and his members, who planned to make this their new headquarters. In the alley, Bruce used Honor's shopping cart to make his new costume. He became the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh. Walking across the street, Batman, in a civilian outfit, pondered upon his abstract observation. He finally finds it out. Years ago, Batman was exposed to Professor Milo's gas weapon, which made him hallucinate, and this might be exactly the part which Hunt has capitalized to shut him completely. However, Batman had built a secondary personality, and this personality was set off owing to the crisis he was facing, and he became a brutal version of himself. Upon hearing the return of Batman, Dr. Hurt shifted his base to Arkham Asylum, keeping Jezebel Jet hostage. When Batman finally arrived at the asylum, Dr. Hurt invited the wealthy elite to gamble on and witness the death of Batman. Batman fought through Labassu's henchmen and the Joker to save Jezebel, who soon got up and sat on the chair smiling, signifying that she worked all this while with the Black Glove. Batman broke down as his secret identity was revealed to them. The Black Glove assembled around him and stated that he would run out of oxygen exactly 30 minutes after dinner, and the second his brain started to deteriorate, they would dig him up and use him as their brain-damaged butler. They could also disfigure him so that he resembled his own worst enemy. The Joker, on the other hand, stood at their table and wanted to make a wager. Batman had been the only thing that had ever been motivating the Joker, and without him, he would go crazy. So, the Joker placed his wager. Batman will escape their death trap and pursue them, double or nothing. All the while, Batman had been kept in a coffin buried under 600 pounds of loose dirt, where he kept calculating the number of years that he had spent learning escape artistry, yogic breath control, lockpicking, and weight training, which soon helped him to escape. Batman then continued his pursuit of the Black Glove in Arkham, and finally found Dr. Hurt on top of the asylum terrace. Dr. Hurt then revealed his last trick, which was his identity. He showed himself as Thomas Wayne, but Batman was already aware of this trick, as Mangrove Pierce, or Dr. Hunt, was his father's body double. Hunt blackmailed Batman to let him go, else the next day, news headlines would publish a series of documents exposing Thomas and Martha Wayne as drug addicts and perverts. Batman denied the offer and tried stopping him by crashing his helicopter, but the mayor managed to move Black Glove away before the police arrived. Grant Morrison's take on Zur-En-Arrh inferred that the visit to Planet Zur-En-Arrh and its adventures were all just part of Batman's hallucinations.
Then welcome to the planet Zur-En-Arrh. Here, I'm Batman.
His amazing story in The Brave and the Bold. The Batman of Zur-En-Arrh was showcased in Season 2, Episode 9 of Batman, The Brave and the Bold animated series titled The Super Bat of Planet X. Written by Adam Beechin and directed by Michael Gorgon, the episode was aired on March 26, 2010. In the episode, The Batman of Zur-En-Arrh had a similar plot to that of the 1958 version, where Batman arrives on an alien planet and gains Superman-like abilities. On this planet, the crime fighter vigilante Batman of Zur-En-Arrh was a man named Tilano, who was a news reporter like Superman. Most characters appearing on the unknown planet were replicas of the popular DC characters that we know of now. On this planet, Commissioner Gordon was replaced by Chancellor Gorzon, Louis Lane by Vilsey Villar, and the prime villain Ratol had a similar personality to that of Lex Luthor. Batman, while pursuing space pirates along with Green Arrow, enters into a wormhole that opened up the planet Zur-En-Arrh, sending Batman hurtling towards the surface. He escaped just in time and found himself in a strange city. He intervened when he saw a crook threatening a couple and their young son. When he threw the first batarang, it shattered through a nearby structure, which Batman chalked up to poor construction. The crook fired on Batman as he ducked for cover, and the family ran away. Soon another Batman stepped out from the shadows and used a sonic weapon to capture the thief. The two Batman introduced themselves as Batman Descends. The new Batman in a colorful costume called himself the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh. However, their meeting was short-lived, as Chancellor Gorzon called the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh and reported him about the attack of Ratol. At the crime scene, a female reporter, Vasily Villar, interviewed Ratol, questioning him about his confidence in winning, giving his past performance, but this time he was sure about his victory. The two Batmen arrive and fight Ratol and his gigantic robots. Batman from Earth realized that he now has superhuman strength and durability, using which he takes down the robots easily. Ratol gets arrested while all the other people are stunned by the superhuman's performance. He later joins Batman of Zur-En-Arrh in his Batcave. Tilano had finally deduced the reason behind Batman's powers. The elements on Earth had developed certain aspects in his body, which in this world gave him superhuman abilities owing to the presence of the element Rodon. Back in prison, Ratol cracks down the secret as well and learns that just like Rodon gave Batman superpowers, the same, if reacted with quartz, could produce radiation lethal for him. He soon escaped from his cell and attacked once again, but this time with quartz crystals embedded on the chest of his gigantic robot. This eventually gave Ratol an upper hand, as yellow quartz did manage to depower Batman, and he fell to the ground stating, "Weak as a kitten." However, the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh comes to his aid and sprays him with a protective polymer, thereby sealing off the radiation, leaving him powerless but healthy. The two Batman eventually manage to defeat Ratol and his robots. The wormhole reappears and Green Arrow arrives, explaining how he managed to defeat the pirates. Batman bids farewell to his new ally and returns back to his own reality. Latest appearances of Zur-En-Arrh. In the recent issue 125 from Volume 3 of Batman Comics, we got to see Batman's Zur-En-Arrh persona take control of him once again. Written by Chip Zdarsky, the issue was released in September 2022 with the title Failsafe Part 1. The story begins with Bruce's nightmare, where three Jokers are killing the Bat family. The three Jokers included the past crime boss, Gangster Joker, present-day Joker, and the Joker from Batman Beyond. Waking up from the nightmare, Bruce is worried as he never dreamt of anything he did not want to. He calls Selina Kyle to talk about it. With not much help from her, Bruce gets into his Batman costume and leaves to catch a murderer who has been on the loose. He confronts the murderer who had killed his friends, Clara and Colin Fitzroy, and learned that the real man behind this was the Penguin. It is then revealed that the Penguin is on a mission to assassinate all the elites of Gotham, who never gave him a chance even after he had built his own empire. He was dying of mercury poisoning and had planned to take down all of Gotham's elites with him. Bruce discusses Penguin's plan with Tim Drake, aka Robin, and they both head for the annual Gotham Gala, where all the elites are going to be present. As expected, Penguin also arrives, but is later revealed to be Clayface in his disguise. As chaos breaks out with Penguin's men shooting, Batman goads Clayface to go against Penguin's orders and help him save the elites. Things work out fine, but Tim Drake gets shot, which was a heavy blow for Batman, especially after the death of Jason Todd, and he could not afford to witness the death of another Robin. He rushed him to the hospital, where Penguin was also admitted for his mercury poisoning. When Batman confronts the Penguin, he swallows a cyanide pill and dies, framing Batman for his murder. Batman, with no other option in hand, flees from the scene after the police show up. A red light blinks at the Batcave and a big robot warrior walks out. This robot was known as Failsafe and was a creation of Bruce for any situation if Batman went rogue. It got activated after Batman got framed as a murderer. After a few days, Tim is shown to be fine and is back to his crime-fighting days, but Batman advises him to take his time off. Tim refuses to take his advice. As Batman gets back into his Batcave, he feels a strong force approaching him, and in no time we get to see Failsafe attack and destroy the Bat computer. Bruce tries taking it down, but the robot is way too strong for him, and all he can do is barely escape from the Batcave. Failsafe still chases him, and after Barbara Gordon gets the reading on Batman's deteriorating vitals, she signals the members of the Bat family. Cassandra Cain, Stephanie Brown, Dick Grayson, and Duke Thomas arrive, but even with their joint effort, they cannot stop or even slow down Failsafe. They all escape in the Batmobile to the original Batcave in the Wayne Manor, but Failsafe relentlessly follows them. The rest of the members try slowing the robot down while Batman and Tim Drake arrive at the Wayne Manor. After defeating the Bat family, Failsafe makes his way to Leslie Tompkins, the doctor that was posted to treat Bruce's wounds. Back at the manor, the original Bruce tells Tim that he knows what he has to do and reaches out for an old trunk. He puts on a new bat suit and imbibes his alternate persona of the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh. Sometime back in the Justice League Tower of Babel, Batman was shown to have contingencies for all members of the Justice League if they ever went rogue, for which he was almost voted out of it, until Superman asked him what the contingencies would be if it was Batman who were to ever go rogue, to which he had answered, the Justice League. At present, Tim is perplexed at the new costume and persona Batman has taken to, and believes that it was still Bruce. However, the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh stated that he was better than Bruce and opened the way to the version's own Batcave. He explained that this persona was created as a way to defend Batman. Just like the Failsafe was created, Zur-En-Arrh had also figured out ways to take it down, but unfortunately, that memory is wiped out. Failsafe soon arrives at the Batcave and begins fighting with Batman, explaining to Tim that Batman had killed the Penguin and needs to be stopped, while Tim fought back, stating that the death of the Penguin was a setup. While Zur-En-Arrh tells Robin that the only way to end this is by killing the robot, Tim insists on escaping, as the new persona is still inside Bruce's wounded body. The two manage to escape with the help of a grenade Tim threw at Failsafe. Failsafe follows Batman and Tim, and Zur-En-Arrh activates a device that would stop providing their heat signal to Failsafe, thereby not letting him locate them. The fight continues, but Bruce also fights internally, trying to take control over Zur-En-Arrh, as the persona would not care about Tim, who could die in the fight. Finally, Bruce took over and tried activating the self-destruct protocol, but it was too late as Failsafe kept tossing him across the Wayne Manor. Finally, to his relief, he hears a sonic boom and a familiar voice saying, "I'm going to need you to back away from my friend." Superman has arrived, and issue 27 is over. Issue 28 will be published on October 4th, 2022, and will continue from here. It would be awesome to know what Failsafe has in store for Superman, who is surely going to go all out to save his friend Bruce. Conclusion. The idea and concept of the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh from Grant Morrison and Chip Zdarsky significantly portray the level of paranoia inside Bruce's mind. He possesses a genius-level intellect and all the wealth he needs to take down powerful individuals, and with all that power, he might succumb to being corrupted. The creation of Failsafe shows his unbiased take in creating lethal contingencies against a rogue Batman, with Zur-En-Arrh being a failsafe for for a threatened Batman. The prime difference between Bruce Wayne Batman and Zur-En-Arrh Batman is that Zur-En-Arrh is free from Bruce Wayne. His only protocol is securing Batman, for which he even called Damian a soldier and not his son. Hey, if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. And in the meantime, have a good one and be safe. Thank you again, everyone.